Welcome to the Intuitive Therapist Podcast with Janis Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as the angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen.
Hey y'all, this is Janis Cohen, the Intuitive Therapist here on the Intuitive Therapist Podcast. As always, I have questions and thoughts, and I'm going to ask you one important one today. Have you ever had moments in your life when the impossible became possible? Well, today I'm going to talk about just that, how to make the impossible possible. I'm going to talk to you about how to make breakthroughs in any area of your life and how to stay on course once you do. We've all been there at the place where we just can't take living our life anymore the way we're living it. And this year for sure has really pushed us to look at how we are living our lives. We want more from life. We want to get out of pain. We want to live life with wild abandon and experience the limitlessness of the universe. We don't want to be held back anymore. But something is holding you back, isn't it? I can't begin to tell you how often clients share with me how much they want to change their lives and that they feel that something ethereal, something they just can't put their finger on, is holding them back. In fact, one of the questions that I ask potential clients is, what are the challenges that are getting in your way of achieving what you want to achieve? And another very important question that I ask is, given those challenges, why haven't you solved them already? The questions that I ask potential clients are designed to give me insight into not only what is actually going on in their lives, but how they think and perceive everything in their lives so that I can identify the areas that they need the most support with. These two questions, in addition to other strategic questions that I ask them, they're pivotal to me to get a sense of who they are and what they want from themselves and from their lives. Take a moment and write down the answers to those questions that I just stated. Here they are again. Question 1. What are the challenges that are getting in the way of you achieving what you want to achieve? And 2, given those challenges, why is it that you haven't solved them yet? These and other questions, and the actual act of answering them out loud or actually writing them down on paper, are very revealing and identify how you are really living your life and what is truly getting in your way of having what you want. Sometimes answering questions like these seem to hit straight in the heart, and they offer an opening for a breakthrough. I say sometimes because if you're brutally honest with yourself, you'll have an aha moment that you can actually use instead of just staying in your head and ignoring what you truly know about yourself and your life. When it comes to having a breakthrough in your life, it doesn't always have to follow a dark night of the soul moment where you're down on your knees begging and pleading for God to intervene on your behalf. Yep, those times are the deepest and most profound types of breakthroughs, but there can be other, smaller and yet profound breakthroughs that you can experience that don't emotionally wipe you out and break you down. I've had many of both types of breakthroughs in my life. The big fucking ugly ones that literally take the wind out of my body and prevent me from breathing for a while, feeling destitute and empty. These times are the ones that all of us actively avoid having because they are so painful. No one wants to be in that dark black hole emotionally for a moment. The challenge for both you and I is to want to get out of that black hole badly enough that in that deep, dark hole, that point where we really believe we cannot get any lower than we are, that's the point that we surrender to God, to Spirit, the divine, source, whatever you want to refer to your higher power as. We lay our cards out all on the table and we say, I give up. I can't keep dragging these emotional burdens around. They are just too heavy. I don't know what to do. My feet have become blistered from their weight. My heart is broken and my mind is lost. Please help me change this. Please help me get out of this pain. Please help me see the light. Yeah, those moments are insanely tough. In fact, I was gifted with 2 rounds of that recently, within a span of a month. I thought it would never end, but it did. I begged and I pleaded to Spirit. I had reached a point of such deep grief that I got to the point where it was either the grief that would win or I would find a way to reclaim my emotional state back. Fortunately, I reached my breaking point, the point that most people refer to as rock bottom. And within a few hours of my heart-wrenching pleas and my surrender, something shifted inside of me. The burden was lifted and my emotional turmoil was gone. And while I'm left with some of the reverberations of it, I realized that I could clean up those things with greater ease, those things that were pinning me down. The path became clearer. I got my mojo back. Clarity showed up, and here I am, back speaking with you. It can be scary, a very scary experience to experience pain and change at the same time, right? But that is how life is. We have to go through the shitty, dark parts of our life to get to the good stuff. And most often, the bad stuff outweighs the good. Don't get me wrong, y'all know that I am a very positive person, and that is truly who I am. And I arrived at this optimism from dealing with some very dark stuff inside me and in my life. My optimism is real. My optimism is hard-earned. So when I say that life is made up of mostly bad stuff, most people would agree. And if you can agree with that and still be optimistic, then you are in reality and you have good balance in your heart and in your mind. So what does all of this have to do with your breakthrough and how you can break through it? Before anyone can have a breakthrough, you have to break through those barriers that are keeping you stuck, right? We all know that. Those annoying things that won't move out of your way so you can move forward. Hence the dark night of the soul moments. The truth is that when it comes to truly changing your life, you have to reach one particular moment. And that is the moment of complete intolerance for the life circumstances that aren't the way you want them. Granted, you can't prevent what happens outside of you, those unseen forces. But you can be incredibly deliberate about how both you respond to those things and what actions you take on behalf of your response to them. Before you have a breakthrough, though, chances are you feel insanely trapped and feel that there is no way out. It's as if you're locked into your life circumstances and nothing that you could possibly do will change your situation. You're trapped with nowhere to go. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's utter bullshit. Aren't you glad to hear that? Right? Look, we all need leverage in our lives to change things. We need skin in the game in order to shift, morph, and move. And oftentimes, life outside of us is what we perceive as that leverage. And it often is. But the reality is that nothing outside of us can faze us. Nothing can really create leverage for us if it doesn't impact us emotionally. The same thing goes for creating memories. The reason why we have memories with some things and not other things is because that experience caused us to feel something that we associated with that experience. Does that make sense? Without a feeling associated with anything outside of us, everything outside of us is neutral and just there. Look at your life, all parts of your life. In what parts of your life are you dissatisfied? In what parts of your life are you mildly unhappy with? And what parts of your life are causing you intolerable pain? The last question is where I want to focus on today. In order to change your life, and I mean truly and permanently change your life in a massive way, you have to have leverage. But it's not leverage from the outside. You have to have internal leverage, the kind that kicks ass and takes names. You have to be at internal war with yourself about your life. And the only way that you will be able to effectively use this leverage is to want change more than you fear it. I'm going to say it again. The only way you will be able to effectively use the internal leverage that is bubbling up and welling up in your body is if you want change more than you fear it. When you're at this point, you become relentless in your pursuit of change. You are insanely clear about why you want to make this particular change. And people change for only one reason: to get out of pain and into pleasure. People change because they want to feel something different, something way better than what they're feeling right now. That is how you create real change. And that is how your breakthrough begins. Sick and tired of that weight you've gained during COVID? Are you at a point where you're willing to do whatever it takes to get back in those skinny jeans and get your groove back? Have you reached the end of your rope with being financially stranded each month and living not paycheck to paycheck, but penny to penny? Are you sick and tired of inviting the same kind of toxic romantic partners into your life only to experience the same heartbreak in every relationship you've ever had? If you answered a resounding yes to any of those questions, I want you to look a bit deeper before you say you're ready for a breakthrough. We all want circumstances we don't want in our lives to change. But are you really at a point where you're willing to make a declaration to yourself and to the world that you will not live a moment longer in this way? If so, well, my dear, you are in the best spot you could possibly be. Trust me, the pain of this moment will propel you farther than you ever imagined on the other side of and on the other side of this pain is the most profound form of pleasure and freedom you will experience. So let's say you've had a breakthroughs in your life before. How long did they last? Did life test you every which way and you fell back into your old ways? Well, you're not alone. We've all done that. Look, anytime we make progress in our lives, God will test us to see if we have truly integrated our lesson and are firmly committed to living our lives better, differently. So the key to maintaining your breakthrough is to devise a plan to keep it current. You have to strategize, and quickly. You have to deliberately focus on not only what has got you to the breaking point, but even more importantly, identify and focus on what insights you gained from your breakthrough. How did your thoughts change? What new perspective have you developed as a result? What do you want to keep intact that came from your breakthrough? These are the things that you need to keep front and center in your mind until they become second nature to think about. You need to remind yourself about this all of the time until you remind yourself. Get it? Repetition is the mother of retention. And reminding, changing your mind, is the whole point. You can only keep up the results you want to have by practicing new strategies, the strategies that work. Stray off path and things change. The weight comes back. The addiction is reborn. The depression and helplessness lead your life again. And you are right back where you started. And your old story that castrates your dreams and drains you of all life energy, yep, you start telling that one again. So use the strategies that work to keep you on path. And the very things that you have strived to create will not only continue to exist, but you will refine them along the way. We all have stories, narratives that we tell ourselves about why we can or can't do or achieve something in our lives. What's your story around this? There's a saying, whether we believe we can or we can't, we're usually right. Your story can't be a simple one. Like, I can't lose weight because everyone in my family's overweight. Or you might have had a horrific breakup several years back, but that's not the reason why you haven't found the love relationship of your dreams. No, not at all. The thing that controls people is the story that they tell themselves that completely disempowers them. It makes you stuck in your beliefs, and you know that if you feel stuck, you don't believe that you can do anything to bring about the change you want. To change a story, you have to get to a point where your desire for change outweighs the pain that you're in. You have to be so freaking hungry and devoted to bringing about that change that no previous belief has a chance of getting in the way of your progress. You have to be willing to rewrite your story. You have to be willing to author new sentences, new insights, new beliefs. Trust me, I am living proof of this. If somebody wants something badly enough, they will break through whatever limiting beliefs that make up their limiting story. They will tell the fears to screw off. They will tell the voices in their heads that come from their upbringing, their parents, their mentors, who they thought were mentors, their previous partners, who tried to break them down and keep them small. They will say, "Go away. You don't matter anymore." Lastly, you have to get yourself in an empowered emotional state. But when we get into that black hole of emotional resourcelessness, it seems nearly impossible to change how we feel, doesn't it? It's so hard. We feel weighted down. We feel helpless. We feel trapped. Been there, done that, y'all. And I've gotten out of it. And don't think that I haven't clawed my way out either. To change your emotional state, you need to start moving around and change your physiology. Very first thing. How you use your body to reinforce how you want to feel is key. And by the way, as I've mentioned before, we use our body to reinforce those things that we don't want to feel as well. Get up, walk around, hit something, scream, or breathe deeply and meditate. Any of these things will change your emotional state and release what is pent up inside of you. You know that internal leverage I'm talking about? You can use that in this moment. You have to change how you use your body to wake up different emotions, to call them to task. Don't want to feel depressed anymore? Call activity to task. Don't want to feel helpless anymore? Call resourcefulness to task. Focus only on those emotions you want to feel. You want to feel joy? Go do something that brings you joy. Go give of yourself. You want to feel hopeful? Go inspire somebody. You want to feel free? Go do something that makes you feel free, limitless. Challenge those limiting beliefs that you have. Fight for those feelings that you want to feel. Become those emotions that you want to have. And practice every day, every moment being those emotions. And you will change your life and sustain your breakthrough. Change your strategy. Change your result. Change your story. Change your life. Change your state, your emotional state, and you change everything. I pray your breakthrough brings you to the most wonderful place inside of you. I pray that your breakthrough proves to you how strong you really are, how much you can handle, how much you can create, and how big you can dream. Only you stand in your way. No history, no trauma, no person is in your way except you. And because in the past you've had successes of overcoming, you can continue to do the same right now. I wish you a blessed day, a wonderful week, and as always, always live intuitively.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend. And be sure to give us some stars and a favorable review at Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen in.